Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to light a fire. Light a fire in a wood burning stove. This is our Jotel 400 and there is nothing easier to light than a fire. Some people overcomplicate this and it's really quite simple. You layer your fire and at the bottom of the layers you have the most combustible material. Most people use paper, but there's other things that you can use. I've got right here, I just took a walk out in our forested area here. 10 minutes I gathered all this. So this here is birch bark. This stuff burns exactly like paper, right? It's real thin, but you can get some of the thicker birch too, thicker bark. And it's got like a oily stuff in it, so it burns real fast, right? And it'll burn like paper. Okay, so that's that. This stuff over here, I know it as old man's beard. And what it is, it's like a lichen type of stuff that grows on dead trees. And
bring it closer.
There you go. And this stuff too, it burns faster than paper. And as you can see, this in here, I don't know if you can see that on camera, that birch bark is still burning because of the oily stuff that's in it. And that was just a small piece. So this stuff here, this burns real fast. Right, so that's enough flame to get whatever you're gonna light to get it going. Also, I'm not saying you're going to find these every day, but this here is a bird's nest that I found out there, abandoned bird's nest. This is grass, it's all packed nice and tight. This will burn like crazy, and this will get your fire going. If you don't have paper, right, these are all things that you can use. And yeah, if you live in the city, chances are you're not going to find a bird's nest. But if you live in the country, you'll find these, you'll find birch bark, you'll find old man's beard. But if you live in the city, then you're always going to have paper, because everybody knows you get a whole bunch of junk mail every day, right? So, okay, so what we do, first off we've got to clean the inside here. I don't like to, let's take that out because it's still burning. Don't like to take out all the ashes. You need a little bit of ash when you're burning wood. But basically all we do is this light stuff, you just swish it around and it goes through the grate that's in the bottom of the wood stove here. But you just leave yourself a little bit of the unburnt wood that was in the fire last night. Just give it like this and then it gives you a little bit of a bed. So then in underneath here, this is where the ashes go. Once the wood is burnt. So that's about half full, so that's one night's burn. But we'll just dump it in a second here. And yeah, I'm making a mess all over the hearth, but I light the fire and Heather does the cleanup. Okay, so then we'll put this back in here, sweep that off. We get our paper, and we're just making our bottom layer. Our bottom layer is the most combustible, so newspaper. The shiny paper is not so good to light the fire with, but the newsprint that's like a matte finish, that's the best stuff to use. And there's no set amount of how much paper you put in there. Once you've lit the wood stove a couple of times, you'll know how much paper to put in. Okay, and then the wood. So what I tend to do, I find a couple of big pieces that I know will be slow to burn. And that's what I usually sort of build my base with, like this, and then I lay all the other wood across it. So some thinner stuff, maybe like this. Sort of crisscross it with different wood, just to build it up. Some people say it's a little bit like a log cabin, right? Okay, so now we've got our paper layer, our kindling.
Here.
The director is telling me where all the stuff is to do. The producer of this movie. So this wood's poplar, I can tell the difference. See this is birch. And that's the birch bark, a little bit thicker than the other stuff. And this has got a bunch of oily stuff in it and it burns real good. But this is poplar, you can tell the difference in the bark. Yeah. And this here, that's spruce. See the difference? And as long as it's dried, it all burns. Like some people say, I'll never burn poplar because it doesn't give off any heat. Well, I beg to differ. Okay, so there you go. The fire's ready to go. This here is the damper that lets in the air or closes it off. So that position is closed and that's open. The damper, the firebox down here, we tend to leave ours open a little bit and then it catches up real good. Right? But what I'm going to do before I light the fire is get rid of all this combustible material here. Because I don't want a house fire. And you know, if you want me to show a video lighting the fire with old man's beard or birch bark, then just put it in the comments and we'll do another video. But all this stuff burns real good as I showed you, right? Okay, so there we're ready to go. Okay, so the fire's all what they call laid in. It's in there. Got 3 layers. I got my most combustible on the bottom. I got the paper. I got my kindling, and then I got 2 types of wood up here. So now I'm just going to light her up, and then we'll see how we go. Okay, so it usually takes about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to catch all the kindling on and to the bigger wood to get going. And once I do, I'll come back and show you what we got. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. Fire's getting really hot. It's a little bit too close for me. But yeah, the fire's going real good. So now what we do, we close this door. So now the only air that's going into this jotel is with this lever here. And that's open, so they've got the air going in. This wood stove is a Jotel 400. And probably the best wood stove that I've ever had. This thing gets real hot real quick. It's got the brown enamel finish. And the reason why this thing catches up so fast is not because it's got a fan assist or nothing like that. It doesn't have an assisted fan. It's just draw that draws the air in from the bottom. Our chimney goes through the roof and it's in a dead straight line. There's no bends. That's just the way it is, straight up there. But it draws real good. Gets hot real fast, and this thing doesn't go through like lots of wood. I bet if we brought in a dozen pieces this big, that would last all evening, right? That'll burn for like 10 hours. So it doesn't use a lot of wood. If you're looking at the video and you think, well, this wood stove looks kind of close to the walls and everything, well actually it's got a heat shield in the back. So it's one of the stoves that you can have a little closer to your wall if you don't have enough space. But the walls back here, they're not even hot. This is an insulated chimney, double walled, so that doesn't get hot either. But the stove itself gets pretty hot. The stove is made of cast iron. It's got this enamel finish on it, and the glass is made of ceramic. So it gets really hot as well as it throws a lot of heat out. Okay? So I'm just going to recap now on the stuff that I said I was using to light the fire. We had paper, obviously paper. I don't need to show you any paper. But some of the other things that I said you could light the fire with is this birch bark. Right? This is the outside layer. It's real thin. And then this is a secondary layer of the birch bark. And this contains the oily stuff, and so it burns real good for quite a while, longer than paper actually. Right? So that's one of the things to light it with. This other stuff here, this is called, well, I know it is old man's beard. It's a little bit like a lichen that grows on a twig. And so when I like this, when I use this, I leave it on the twig so that it burns and then catches the twig on fire as well. And this is how it grows. You'll find it on twigs like that. Sometimes in areas where people haven't been harvesting it, it gets real long, 5-6 inches long, and it burns real good. Okay, and then the other thing, you're not likely to find that, but you know, if you're using your head a little bit, you can find all sorts to burn that will start a fire. This bird's nest is dry, 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 and it's packed in there real tight because the bird did a good job of building it. Okay, there was nothing in it, so I have no problem taking it. If there were eggs in there, then we might be having bacon on top of the stove in a minute. Okay, so some of the wood that we burn here. This here, as you can see, the bark. This is poplar, right? And this is about the size that we burn. They're around about, I don't know, 10-12 inches. Right? That's poplar. This is spruce. You can see the bark on the spruce is a little different, and the wood is slightly different. Right? It's more grainy. And then birch. We burn birch too. I didn't bring any in, but they're all about the same size, but you can tell the birch, but the bark will look like that. So you imagine this with this on it, and you can see that's birch. So in order of the greatest amount of heat putting out, birch bark burns the hottest. Right? Birch wood burns hotter, the spruce burns the second hottest, and then poplar burns the last hottest. But they all burn really good. As long as they're dry, they'll all burn. I don't burn wet wood. I know some people do. To me, that's just a complete waste of time. So that's that. That's how we light our fire, and that's how we get things going here. Let's put a little bit more wood in here. Okay, so that's how we light our fire. Really quite simple. We build it up in layers, the bottom layer being the most combustible, and put a match to it, and away it goes. Really quite simple. It's not rocket science.
So if you like this channel, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell, smash that like button, and we'll see you on the next one.
Smash that like button. I should edit that out, but I'm not going to. And also, if you've got any friends, because I know a lot of you don't, because that's why you're watching YouTube, tell your friends to watch us too, right? Okay? Catch you later.
See ya.